remove sanctions as a show of goodwill. But Iran's nuclear ambitions is far from the only pressing foreign policy issue for this new Obama administration. Joining us now, P.J. Crowley, a senior fellow for the Center for American Progress and former special assistant to President Clinton for national security affairs. P.J., it's good to see you.
Hello, John.
Let me read you a quote from one of the prosecutor, I guess the prosecutor general of Iran. He writes, "Through the lifting of the past government's cruel sanctions against Iran, Barack Obama can demonstrate his goodwill to the Iranian people." Do you think that that's something that Barack Obama is thinking about right now?
Well, certainly sanctions are an important tool in putting pressure on a government like Iran to change its behavior. I'm amused, first of all, that Iran, in the aftermath of Tuesday's election, is having to work on its talking points a little bit. It's not quite as easy to vilify the United States as it might have been previously, and it's a little bit of an irony that it's Iran that's putting conditions on perhaps future engagements between the United States and Iran. Look, sanctions are very, very important. The Clinton administration did it. The Bush administration has done it quite effectively. You can always modify these sanctions as appropriate, but they're always going to be an effective tool in the toolbox.
Well, and then there are some of the other, Iran became a huge campaign issue when Barack Obama, the discussion about no preconditions in meeting with countries like Iran. Do you think that they are sensing that there will be an easier dialogue with this president than there has been up till now?
Well, over 30 years, the relationship between Iran and the United States has been captive to hardliners on both sides. I think President-elect Obama has signaled a willingness under right conditions to engage Iran. This summer, the Bush administration sent Undersecretary of State Bill Burns along with UN negotiators to talk to Iran about its nuclear ambitions. So I think that bringing some of that pragmatism into play, I think, will be very helpful. In the late 1990s, the Clinton administration, as a gesture to Iran, lifted some sanctions on consumer goods like pistachios and carpets while keeping other sanctions in place. So I think there will be levers that can be available to the next president, but obviously whatever changes are made will have to be on Iran's actions, not on Iran's words.
Seems like there's no shortage of advice for Barack Obama right now. Nouri al-Maliki is suggesting that he sort of may have helped him win the office by accepting his troop withdrawal plan. Then you've got Afghanistan and President Hamid Karzai, who says that there may have to be a new approach to the war on terror. Talk about that country specifically, and what should Barack Obama's priorities be?
Well, obviously, this was well debated during the campaign. That progress in Afghanistan, where the situation is very tenuous, it relies upon some shift of forces from Iraq, to Afghanistan. Even yesterday, General Petraeus signaled that there will be a unit leaving early and will not be replaced because of the situation on the ground. So obviously, you're beginning already a shift of emphasis from Iraq to Afghanistan. Some of these troops will come home, obviously, but this is all part of a strategic review that will be undertaken beginning now, continuing into the early part of the next administration.
And how fascinating that Iraq was such an issue in the election maybe a year ago or a little bit more, and partly because of the success of the surge, all of a sudden, it's not dominating the headlines, and it kind of became not important as a campaign issue at the end.
Well, although, General Petraeus, who was the commander in Iraq and is now the commander for the central region, he's in Afghanistan and Pakistan this week, and obviously he will be bringing back and reevaluating and presenting to, the president-elect and once he is president, options in terms of adapting our strategy as we go forward.
P.J. Crowley, a former specialist